Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Thursday the 4th of September, Sarah Kismet's birthday. So we at Gecko would like to wish her happy birthday. Not that we haven't wished her happy birthday all day, but you know, same thing. We've wished her happy birthday. We have a sneaky code, which I will remind you at the end. We've been packing parcels all morning. People are taking advantage of the code, which will give you a discount. I don't even know how much the discount is. It is SKSBD. I think it's all in capitals. I don't know whether that makes a difference. But if you want a sneaky discount on things, go on the website now and you'll get your discount. So, happy birthday, Sarah. Hiya, Liz. Hi, Marilyn. Hiya, Jean. How are you? What are we doing today? Okay, so I saw a picture on Pinterest, as you do, for a placemat. Now, my family think we've got enough placemats in our house, but I don't think. A bit like a project wallet. Mind you, I could make a project wallet out of this. We're going to do it quilt as you go, and it is I've called it Rise and Shine. Sarah's right. This is a comfy chair. I might get another one from my house. I don't know how my legs reach the floor though. Mine are only just, with my bum right back, only just reaching the floor. So there is this. Now you could use colours. It's like pastel ice cream sherbet colours that you use. You could use colours, and each colour could be like a check or a spot and a stripe, and you know, you could just make it really fresh and think. I love linen textures, so I've done it in linen textures because I just don't think you can go wrong with linen texture. It's just beautiful. So how do we make it? Hiya, Patricia. How are you? It's 20% off with the code SKSBD. Get yourself on there. She's much more generous than me. I gave you 10% off the extra wides. So if you go on now, you get 20% off the extra wides. Why wouldn't you? Right, okay. So to start with Quilt As You Go, you're always doing the quilting through the background as well. So I've put Christmas fabric on the back because it's quirky. It's dogs in stockings. I don't know what this one's called. It's dogs in stockings, and I think it is so cute. So I can now use this on my Christmas table because I never have anything that matches on my Christmas table. We just eat. We eat and talk and laugh, and that's all that matters to me. So yeah. So we're going to make another one. So at least the girls will have dogs in stockings, okay, for their Christmas table. But we're going to work on this side. So what do I need? I've trimmed mine down at 12.5 by 15 because that was roughly the size of the ones that I've done before, so that they're all the same. So we are going to plug the iron in to start with. There we go. It doesn't like to go in, does it? There you are. So we're going to start with our wadding. Now, I think it's bigger than... Make it slightly bigger than what you need, because then when you finish quilting on it, you can trim it down. And I have my backing, which I am going to give a quick press because I folded it into my project wallet. And I don't want that crease down the middle. So I'm going to put that on there like that. Just like that. I say that a lot. I looked back on something the other day I don't know whether I channel my parents. So we're going to put a little bit of the spray, okay, on, just to hold this one in place while we're messing around with it. Let's just move it along a little bit. There we go. So we have Christmas on one side, and then we're going to have a sunrise on the other. Okay, so we've prepped this. Now yesterday I measured all of these out with my trusty ruler. I wanted to be able to use our 9-degree ruler, okay, and I'm always trying to find something else that we can do with our rulers, so that they become something that you need. But I wanted that one to be slightly bigger, so somewhere here I carried it on with my, so that became, I just made it so that it did come bigger. Now I measured them all out, I placed them all in, and then I'd placed them in a different place to what I'd measured, and so I had to add a bit in the end. I don't think it looks too out of place, and I had a lot that I cut off this end, so and a lot I cut off this end. So yeah, it's sort of one of those things where I thought this time we would just put it down and just work from eye, if you see what I mean. So we're going to start with the colour that we had. I'm going to go in the same colourways. So I've got my linen textures. Now all of these have come off a long quarter. So I keep linen texture in my stash all the time. I'm going to put it slightly different. I'm going to go from there, I think, but I still want to go into, are we going to go, let's go into, we'll have the sun coming up here, and I think we'll just put them all into there. So we're going to cut our piece. Now yesterday I did a lot of cutting on the angle, but I'm just going to cut my piece. In fact, that should be fine. If I use that, where's my wedge? There's my wedge. And just cut it out from there. Just gonna, I think, oh, it's a squeaky one, isn't it? I'm just going to start with a shape. Now it doesn't matter what shape you're using. You could go from, start with any shape. This is like an improv quilt as you go. So that's going to be our first one. Let's put it slightly at an angle. There we go. Now we're going to put sunshine here. So even though that doesn't come all the way down to the bottom, I'm just going to leave it like that. But I will continue, because of the way that the quilting goes on the back, I'm going to continue down to come off, if that makes sense, to come off there. Sarah's on the ball today, so it's Santa Paws. Right, so our next colour was this one. So we're going to cut out, I'm going to cut out a bit of this. So if I go with this size and I go from there, I'm going to cut it out on the straight-ish. So it is just an improv-y improv-y thing, you're just going to put in your sizes. Just needs a new, you need a new blade, girl. You need a new blade. So this one is going to go next. So we're going to put this right sides with that one, and we are going to pin. Now, you know we don't pin very much, but to begin with, I'm going to pin because I want it not to move off the other one, and we're going to sew down 1/4 of an inch all the way down. Okay. So there we go. Hi, Marley. Oh, Sarah, this one does move. Oh, you're going to have to tape it up. So we're going to go with a 1/4 inch seam. Now I don't know where 1/4 of an inch is on this. So we're going to pick a point. About a 1/4 inch point. Now with the June Taylor stuff, you know, the Quilt As You Go that you buy on the wadding, it matters that you do a 1/4 of an inch. It matters because they've worked it all out for you. But because we're doing this improv-y style, it's not going to be a massive thing. Now, we don't want to be ironing at this point because you don't want to stretch this. Okay, so our next colour was this. So if we cut this one, if we cut this one slightly bigger, so if we go up there like that and trim it off here, will we get the different shape? We'll go that way. It's going to be, we want it to come, my son is going to be, you know, one of these. So we want it to come into there. So what we're going to do is we're going to straddle that a little bit. So it's going to make one of them come down at an angle. Could really have done with the angle on that side, couldn't we? That would have been better if we could have. But yeah, we're gonna, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to do something that I don't think is going to work, but we will give it a go. Let's do this. So if we just bring that in at a slight angle like that. There we go. This will do, pig. Okay, so we're going to bring that in at more of an angle. So I've taken some of the edge off like that. Okay, so I'm going to pin that because I don't want that to move, because I get halfway down and I'll forget what I'm doing. There we go. So we're going to bring that along there like that. This chair really is. Right, so again, I'm picking a point and I'm following the fabric that's on the top rather than following the line here. I'm following this top one. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold I can't remember how we do it now. I'm going to do it so that you end up, you've got to fold all this back and cut off 1/4 inch. Okay, so I'm going to fold all of that back because I just want to trim off this little bit here. So hopefully I've got no wadding in under there. So I've just trimmed it off so that we've got roughly 1/4 inch. So there's not a lot of bulk under there. There we go. This is working all right, isn't it? So now we're going to we went with pale blue. So we're going to go that way. So this one, if we do that way, if I just chop that bit off there, like that. Need a straight line. It's not a straight line like. So. Trim that off there. And we're just going to line that up because we can see that that is going to fill this corner. What did I do with those? So we're actually going to follow the line of the one that's in there before. Yeah, we're going to have to come more at an angle, definitely more at an angle when we get to the other bits. Did I press the right button then? Hiya Gainer, hiya Anne, how are you? There we go. So we're going to now, you're going to need stoppers, door stoppers. Stop you rolling too far on this chair. So we'll just sew this one down. Now even though I've pinned it, you can see that it pushes the material on. So there we go. There we go. So this is going to fit in there, just like that. Now, I'm going to take some of this off. So that it's not flapping in the wind. So it's starting to look really nice. So we go in with this colour now, and I want to bring this colour right over like that, so that we're bringing this in even more. So let's put this on. So I'm going to use the line that I used last night, and I'm just going to follow and cut that out. Like that. There we go. So now we want to bring it so that it comes over there a bit more, like that. So we're going to just pop it in there. Now we're going to cover this, remember, we're going to cover the end. Put one in there and one down here. Now, because of the way that the sewing machines work, I'm going to turn this upside down and I'm going to sew from this end up. Okay, and then we're going to chop that bit off. Hiya Kate, how are you? Jill Jones, what am I making? Well, if you'd have been on time, you'd have seen. This is what we're making. We're making a table mat. Rise and Shine table mat. So we're doing quilt as you go. So we're just improving it as we go. So how are you, Kate and Karen? What have you been up to? Anything nice? We've just been packing orders today, which has been quite nice. We've just got to the end of it. So if you, the code SKSBD comes off at midnight. So if you want 20% off something, then you should get yourself onto the website and have a look at our wares. So because I want to cut this off, we're going to flip the wadding and the backing behind us, okay, and we're going to use our ruler, and I'm just going to line it up with the seam underneath and trim that off. I would. Sarah, you need a new blade, okay? Bring a blade home with you. So we flip that back out, and then we're going to flip that over like that. So that is starting to look just like I want it to. So our next one is the dusky pink. I love this pink colour. I use it quite a lot in stuff. I find it quite a restful colour. Right, we want it. No, it doesn't matter if it doesn't reach down here, but we need it to end up here. So I'm going to pull this bit up here, the point. I'm going to pull it up a little bit, and I can see that if I trim it off there, we can. It should be all right. So give myself a little bit of leeway. I just trimmed off the corner of my backing, and we're going to put this right sides together there. I'm going to give it a bit of a quick iron. Now, these were all pressed before I came. They were all pressed with best press, so it made them sharper cutting. I always think of it as, yeah, like sharpening your knives when you put best press on. So we're going to flip this out and then have a look at where the last one's going to go, and go from there. Right, you ready? Yes. Okay. Would you sell the lovely array of colours? Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. Give us a ring, Dana. You ordered, but you didn't get the discount box to put your code in. Well, that's strange. It should have been there. I mean, you all bought. I can't keep this chair still. You all bought the hairs. A lot of you bought the hairs so that we sold out. I'm sure if you really, really, really wanted it, Sarah will cut you another one. So we're just follow the bottom, the top fabric rather than the bottom fabric. Oh. Where are we? 3. There we go. You're off to the website. Off to the website. Right, so we know that this is too big, but I need to trim it off about here. Okay, So we're going to, if I get my other one, so I'm using my nail to get a sharp point. I mean, we did do the wooden ones, you know, the seam thingies. So we just need a little bit here just to cover that corner, really. No, it's going to be that way, isn't it? So we just want to cover this corner. So really what we need is about there, isn't it? So where's my rotary cutter? Let's just trim that off there. And if we take that into there, so if we pin it in there like that, you can see it's very organic. It's just place it where it looks right. Trouble is, you end up with odd looking remnants, you know, bits that you've cut off. There we go. So this is the last one to make the rays of sunshine, like that. And then I'm going to show you how I did the sun, because it was pretty, and again, a reel that we've seen, and I'm sure Sarah will have taught you how to do this in the past, but I couldn't find a tutorial on it. But I mean, you know, a lot of these things that we do, you start with this, and then while you're doing this you have all these ideas, because I have this idea, Christmas would be lovely if you did a star and then had the Christmas fabrics coming out at the angle. Oh, we need to make sure that we cut it down there. It didn't quite. So there we have our sunshine. Okay, the rays. It could be a sunset, or it could be the things. I mean, you could just use this array going round, but yeah, I liked the colours. I liked the colours. Right, so we want it 12.5 by 15. So your 12.5 is going to be that way. So because I've lost a bit on the bottom here with the pink, I'm going to make sure that the majority of my 12.5 is at the top. Okay, but I haven't got 15. 12.5. So we've got the big one there. We're going to use the big one. We're going in for the big one. See, at my house, I've got all of them. So there's my one. So this one I want. I'm sure it was 12.5 by 15. Oh, 12. Yeah, 12.5 maybe. 12 and 1/4, I think, by 15.5. So where's the end there? That'll be, there we go. So if we trim up there like that, so that we do end up with we've got a straight line to go from now. So I'm going to turn this now. So 15.5. So I'm going to line that straight line up with my 15.5 down here. and I want to come in to where my there we go. Let's trim that off there. Yeah, I got it. And now I have a corner. I have a corner that we are happy with. So we're going to line that up with the 15.5 and the 12.5. 15.5 there, there. Well, it's not going to be very straight, but we go in with it. We'll go in with this. Up there and along there. So all of that is rubbish now. Now I'm hoping that is going to disappear. I think this is why I ended up with another colour in there. We could put the purple in there. Put the purple in there. And just put it in like, that's my straight edge. Let's have a straight edge, shall we? It's a good job it's an improv, isn't it? There we go. So we're going to straighten that edge off there. And what I'm going to do is put this in like that. There's no point in just putting it in that slither. So I'm going to bring it out a little bit. Like that. And we'll know it'll cover it. There we go. I've got a corner missing there, but it'll be alright. So we just put this last one in and then I'll show you how to do the sunshine. There we go. So that now will cover my booby my boob. Right, okay. There we go. Got all these bits now. Right, so our sunshine, because it's first thing in the morning, is this one. Nice bright yellow. And I'm going to get that out of the way, because that would be just what I would do, is end up. So just ironed that crease out of it. Almost. There we go. I've just put a bit of best press on it, which gets the wrinkles out lovely. It really does. It now my iron at home, I think that the thermostat thingy has gone in it, because it's really hot. Now I've got some interface in here. This is iron on. The one I used last night, because I didn't have any iron, I couldn't find any iron on, was stitch and tear, so it really doesn't matter. Okay, I'm just going to draw around it, around my circle. Now I'm using an 8-inch circle. I don't know what colour, what size Sarah's template was yesterday, but if you've bought that, you can use that one. I buy these off Crafty UK, and it's a whole set. I think it goes up to a 10 and then down to the 1 inch in the middle, and I love them. I use them a lot. So I've now got my circle on here. So I'm going to put this now on the right side. Okay, now I've put it iron side down because I think it's going to come out iron side up in the end. So just put pins in here just to hold it still, and we're going to sew on the line. Okay, so we're going to sew on the line around here. Okay, all the way round. You're not leaving a gap, you're doing it all the way round. There was a possibility that it would disappear, Jean, but I was a bit worried that if it didn't, then it would look naff, really. So it was just easier to get rid of it there and then. So I'm going around on the line. Now, I'm not actually going to use the whole circle, but I'm going to want to know how to place it. So we do the whole circle, and you could always then use the other half for another table mat. Now you could do these in reds and oranges, because that then would be a sunset. Right. We're going to cut this out with pinking shears. You don't have to. You could cut it out and snip into the corners. So we're just coming along and doing this seam allowance. You want it like a small seam allowance. You don't want a lot of fabric to end up in the when we turn it out. You don't want too much in the hem, the seam. And if you do cut your stitches, you can always go back in and sew it, or she says, or use that bit that you cut off. Okay, so we now need to snip into this. So you need to separate your interfacing and your fabric. And you're just going to cut a nice slit in it and turn it out the right way. Now, when you're turning it and you're pressing out your edges, make sure that you're pressing on the fabric side so you can feel the seam. So go the fabric side of your seam, and that should press out. You don't want to rip your interfacing, but you want a nice sharp. Now this should work with other shapes, which is why I thought the star, because you just sew on the outside. I did start off with the freezer paper method, but I ended up fighting with all the little bits when I was trying to place it, because you fold it back on the freezer paper, and I found that I did bring it with me. So you do it with the freezer paper, and then you trim it, and then you're going to fold it back all the way around, which was fine. I got that bit perfect, but when I wanted to place it on the on my table mat, it just, as I moved around, I just ended up with the little tabs popping out behind me. So right, that's all done. I can't iron it until it goes onto the fabric, because I now have, this is iron-onable. If I'd have done it the other way round, it would iron against the fabric, which might be better. Okay, so we have a fairly even crease. We're now going to place our sunshine, so we can get away with it there, like that. Okay, so I quite like that there. If I move it over any further, you're gonna lose the rays. So I'm going to place this. No, I need to get rid of some of this stuff because I'm accumulating stuff. So we've got this like that. I'm going to move that up, and I'm going to put a bit of fabric under there like that, so that I don't iron it by mistake onto Sarah's mat, because that would not be good. So everything's all out. You could add extra stitchings. Now I've added extra stitching here. I don't know whether there's too much on the sun, but I added shadow quilting down. But you could do oh, what's it called? Decorative stitchings on it. So I'm just going to iron this so that it's nice and neat, and it should stick a bit and stay in place then. Like that. And we're just going to top stitch around the edge before I cut it off. So I'm going to pin that because I don't know whether it's stuck. Like that and like that. Let's go over to here, and I'm just going to stick a top stitch around here. Now I just want it to be fairly close to the edge. Take it easy, maybe not go quite as fast as me. I'm aware that I'm running out of time. All the way around. Ooh. Oh, I did it close to the edge, it didn't come off. So I would then, oh, where are we? 3. So you've got your sunshine on there now, like that. You're going to turn it over, chop off your sun. Keep losing stuff, I do. Okay, so I'm just going to chop the end of my sun off. So you could use this now for another one. It's a very, very small amount, but you could do it so that it's just there and then the rays coming out. So there you go, and then all you do is bind it. Now I bound it from the back. I used a 2.5, and I bound it from the back and then sewed it on the front. It's a table mat, and I've got a lot, so I don't mind that it's finished like this. However, if you are happy to sit and sew them by hand, sew it on the front, because this is a lot neater. It's definitely a better finish if you sew it by hand and it's stitched on the back, on the front. But there you go. Oh, I could have got away with it being smaller. I've got a bigger mat. Look at that. I can still trim it off, but so there you go. 2 sunshine mats. Quite like those. I'm loving the colours. It's just beautiful. I love the colours. So there you go. We yeah, there we go. So that's improv quilting mats, quilt as you go mats. Thank you very much, Jean. So we are not here now until next Thursday. It'll depend on which one of us has an idea. An easy idea, so that we don't we're not worrying about it. It might be block of the week on Thursday next week, just because you can make it up as you go along, really. So I'm gonna pack all my remnants and things out, because they're gonna go back in my stash, so I might make some more. They'd be nice for spring, you know, or a Christmas present. You could do a range. They're different, a range of them. In fact, you could probably just draw it out. If you drew it out onto the wadding, you could then follow it. It would go how you wanted it. You would just then sew it on that line and flip it, or 1/4 of an inch from the line, and flip it. If you wanted them all to be the same, you could just put the same picture on them. Right, have a wonderful weekend. Think of us. We'll be in. We will enjoy it. Thank you very much, Marilyn. It'll be fun. We giggle a lot when the 4 of us are together like that. We do giggle a lot. We should pack Cards Against Humanity again, because that would take us back to Zante. Right, have fun. Have a good weekend, and we will see you next week. I am sure there will be pictures going up somewhere when we do something that's exciting and for general viewing, probably. We'll see you soon. Take care.